The old restroom stood at the end of the hallway. It was always dark and dusty. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling like spooky decorations. No one dared to use it. The floor was always cold. The air was thick with the smell of mildew. It felt like someone or something was watching you. The stalls creaked and groaned even when no one was inside. A single flickering light bulb cast eerie shadows that danced on the walls. The faucet dripped endlessly, a constant reminder of the restroom's neglect. Legend had it that the restroom was haunted. The story goes back decades, whispered among students and teachers alike. It was a tale that sent shivers down the spines of those who dared to listen. The restroom, with its flickering lights and cold, damp air, was the perfect setting for such a chilling legend. They said that Old Man Withers, the school's former janitor, died in there. He was a fixture of the school, always seen in his worn-out overalls carrying a mop and bucket. His presence was as much a part of the school as the bricks and mortar. He had a heart attack while cleaning one of the stalls. It was a tragic end to a man who had spent his life maintaining the school. Some say he was found clutching his chest, his face twisted in pain, lying on the cold, tiled floor. Old Man Withers was a grumpy man. He had a reputation for being stern and unapproachable. His gruff exterior hid a man who took pride in his work, but few saw that side of him. He yelled at students who left messes. His voice would echo through the hallways, a booming reminder to keep the school clean. Many students feared his wrath and would go out of their way to avoid him. He always seemed to be watching from the shadows. His eyes, sharp and piercing, would catch any mischief. It was as if he had a sixth sense for trouble, always appearing at the right moment to put a stop to it. Now they say his angry spirit roams the restroom. The air grows colder, and the lights flicker more frequently. Some claim to feel a presence, an unseen force that watches their every move. People whispered about strange occurrences. Stories of eerie sounds and unexplained phenomena spread like wildfire. The restroom became a place of fear, avoided by many. They said the toilet flushed on its own. It was a common tale told by those who dared to enter. The sound of water rushing, with no one around to cause it, added to the restroom's eerie reputation. The sound of chains rattling echoed from the stalls. It was a noise that sent chills down the spine, a reminder of the janitor's presence. Some believed it was Old Man Withers, still tending to his duties from beyond the grave. Some even claimed to have seen Old Man Withers' ghostly figure in the mirror. His reflection, pale and ghostly, would appear for a fleeting moment before vanishing. It was a sight that left many questioning their own eyes, wondering if the legend was more than just a story. One day you and your friend Billy decide to explore the haunted restroom. The stories about this place have been circulating for years, and today, curiosity has gotten the better of you both. The restroom is located at the far end of the school, a place where few dare to venture after dark. You're both scared, but you don't want to admit it. The air is thick with tension, and every creak of the floorboards makes your heart skip a beat. You exchange nervous glances, each hoping the other will suggest turning back. You push open the creaking door and step inside. The hinges groan in protest, echoing through the empty hallways. The dim light from the flickering bulb casts eerie shadows on the walls, making the place look even more sinister. Suddenly you hear a whisper coming from one of the stalls. It's so faint that you almost think you're imagining it, but then it comes again. A soft, eerie murmur that sends chills down your spine. It's faint, but you can definitely hear it. The sound seems to be coming from the farthest stall, the one that's always been rumoured to be haunted. You and Billy exchange another glance, this time filled with a mix of fear and curiosity. It seems to be calling your name. The whisper grows a bit louder, more distinct, and you can almost make out the words. It's like a ghostly voice from another world, beckoning you closer. Your heart pounds in your chest. You can feel the adrenaline coursing through your veins, making your hands tremble. Every instinct tells you to run, but something keeps you rooted to the spot. You freeze, not daring to move. The whisper continues, growing more insistent with each passing second. It's as if the very walls of the restroom are alive, closing in on you. The whisper grows louder, more insistent. You can now hear it clearly, and it sends a shiver down your spine. It's like something is trying to get your attention, something that doesn't belong to this world. It's like something is trying to get your attention. You squint into the darkness, trying to make out any shapes or figures. For a moment you think you see a shadow move, but it's gone before you can be sure. Billy grabs your arm. "Did you hear that?" he whispers, his eyes wide with fear. His grip is tight, and you can feel his hand shaking. You both stand there, paralyzed by the unknown. You nod slowly, too terrified to speak. The whispering continues, wrapping around you like a cold, invisible hand. You know you should leave, but something compels you to stay, to uncover the mystery of the whispers in the stall. You cautiously approach the stall where you heard the whisper. As you get closer, the voice gets even louder. It's telling you to choose. Red or blue, the voice hisses. Choose wisely, for your fate depends on it. You look down and see two pieces of paper on the floor. One is red, the other is blue. Your hand trembles as you reach out to make your choice. Billy pulls you back. "Don't listen to it," he cries. "It's a trick," but you're frozen in place, unable to resist the voice's command. You hesitate for a moment, then pick up the blue piece of paper. The texture feels strange, almost otherworldly, as if it doesn't belong in this realm. You can't help but wonder why it was left here, in this dimly lit restroom. The air feels heavy, and a chill runs down your spine. You glance around, half expecting someone to jump out at you, but the room remains eerily silent. As soon as your fingers touch it, the voice lets out an ear-splitting shriek. It's a sound that pierces through your very soul, making you wince in pain. You try to cover your ears, but it's as if the scream is coming from inside your head. The noise is unbearable, and you feel a sense of dread wash over you. The lights flicker violently, plunging the restroom into darkness. The sudden change leaves you disoriented, and you struggle to regain your bearings. The flickering light casts eerie shadows on the walls, making the room feel even more sinister. You can barely see your own hand in front of your face, and the darkness seems to close in around you. You scream and drop the paper, stumbling back in terror. Your heart races, and you can feel the adrenaline coursing through your veins. The paper flutters to the ground, but you can't bring yourself to pick it up again. The fear is too overwhelming, and you feel like you're on the verge of a panic attack. You bump into Billy, and together you run towards the door. The two of you are in a state of sheer panic, and you can barely think straight. All you know is that you need to get out of there, and fast. The sound of your footsteps echoes in the dark, adding to the sense of urgency. But as you reach for the handle, you realize it's gone. Your hand grasps at empty air, and a wave of despair washes over you. How could the handle just disappear? You frantically search the door, hoping to find some way to open it. But it's no use. The door remains firmly shut, trapping you inside. The door is slammed shut, and you're trapped inside. The sound reverberates through the room, and you feel a sense of finality. There's no way out, and the reality of your situation begins to sink in. You're stuck in this haunted restroom with no idea how to escape. You hear the sound of chains rattling and the ghostly laughter of Old Man Withers echoing around you. The noise sends shivers down your spine, and you feel a sense of impending doom. The chains clink and clatter as if they're being dragged across the floor, and the laughter is filled with malice. It's clear that Old Man Withers is enjoying your fear, and you can't help but feel like a pawn in his twisted game. You're trapped in the haunted restroom with no way out. The walls seem to close in on you, and the air feels suffocating. You frantically search for an escape, but every corner of the room seems to mock your efforts. The ghostly presence of Old Man Withers looms over you, and you realize that you're at his mercy. The fear is overwhelming, and you can't help but wonder if you'll ever make it out alive. Section 6. The Red Paper's Punishment. You decide to pick up the red piece of paper. As you do, the stall door slams shut with a deafening bang. You're trapped inside the stall, shrouded in darkness. You hear the sound of heavy breathing coming from behind the door. Something cold and slimy reaches out and grabs your arm. You scream and try to pull away, but the grip tightens. You're dragged through the darkness, the sound of your own screams echoing in your ears. You catch a glimpse of a rotting skeletal hand, its bony fingers digging into your flesh. Section 7, a ghastly revelation. Suddenly the lights flicker back on. You're back in the restroom, but something is different. Standing before you is not Old Man Withers, but a young boy no older than 10. He's transparent, a ghostly figure with sadness in his eyes. He holds out his hand, revealing a familiar blue piece of paper. It's the same one you chose earlier. The boy speaks, his voice a mournful whisper. He tells you that he's the real ghost of the restroom. He was bullied and locked in the stall where he died of fright. Section 8, Trapped. The blue paper, the boy explains, represents fear. By choosing it, you've chosen to stay trapped in the restroom with him forever. He needs someone to share his pain and loneliness. You try to apologize, to explain that you didn't know, but the boy just shakes his head sadly. He tells you it's too late. You're trapped here now, just like him. You look at Billy, who's standing by the door, his face pale with fear. He reaches out to you, but the boy creates an invisible barrier between you. Section 9, a final plea. You plead with the boy to let you go. You promise to tell his story, to make sure no one forgets him. You'll do anything to escape this nightmare. The boy considers your offer for a moment, then shakes his head. He's been alone for so long. He can't let you leave. He needs a friend, forever. The lights go out again, plunging you into darkness. You hear Billy scream your name, his voice filled with terror. Then silence. You're alone, trapped forever in the haunted restroom.